Today we're going to talk about safety, keeping your child with autism safe, one of the most important topics that we can talk about. My name is Nancy Marchese. I'm a board-certified doctoral level behavior analyst and a clinical psychologist. My goal is to help 2 million children with autism and their families by transforming their lives, and I can't wait to help you too. Today I want to talk to you about keeping your child safe. More than 50% of children with autism wander or elope from safe places, leaving themselves at tremendous risk. In my own professional career, I unfortunately have encountered this. In fact, many years ago, I worked with a family whose son, who was about 6 years old, left unbeknownst to them in the middle of the night and ended up walking the streets alone and putting himself in extreme danger. He continued to do so for many hours until, thank goodness, a taxi cab driver saw him, picked him up, and took him to a local police station. The parents were asleep during all of this. They had no idea. And they woke up the next morning to their son not being in his bed where they expected. They frantically called around to all the local police stations, and thankfully they were reunited with their son. I don't want any situation like this to ever happen to any family, and that's why I'm talking to you about this today. This is a serious issue that all families need to consider. If your child is at any risk for wandering or eloping from safe situations, especially from the home, here are some things that you can do. First things first, you want to prevent it from happening to begin with. Get yourself a security system that you can arm the doors of your home such that if your child opens a door, that you hear it. And even if you can't access a security system, get those chimes that you can put on the top of the door again, so that if your child opens that door, you know they're about to leave to an unsafe situation. Another thing I want you to consider is that we know that for many children who wander, they end up being attracted to water for whatever reason. So, super important life skill. If your child doesn't know how to swim, get your child in swim lessons to keep them safe. And finally, consider a GPS tracker that your child can wear. There's all sorts of technology out there now that in the unlikely event that your child does wander, you can locate them quickly. So those are some tips to consider. The other thing I want you to think about is how can you build skills such that your child isn't interested or motivated to leave the home or other safe situations. And in order to do that, there's a couple things I want you to keep in mind. Children don't wander or elope for no reason. There's something that is attracting them from leaving a safe situation into a more risky situation. That might be something of interest. For example, they know the park is across the street and they want to go and play there. Or maybe there's something super tough, they're dealing with some really tough homework and they just want to avoid that and escape that, so they want to get outside. It could be a lot of different reasons, and step one is to determine what is the reason why. We have a fancy name for this in behavior analysis. We call this conducting a functional assessment. That is getting to the root cause, understanding what it is that is attracting your child to unsafe situations. Once you can identify that, and you might need the help of a professional like a board-certified behavior analyst to do so, once you start to think about what the root cause is, then the next step is to empower your child with skills such that they can communicate their wants or needs, they can wait to get access to all those wonderful things that they're looking to get access to. So it would involve direct teaching. Replace that wandering, that eloping, that unsafe behavior with something that is much more adaptive. Some way of telling you, Mom, I want to go to the park. Or, you know what? I don't want to do that work. It's really tough for me right now. I need a break. So always think about not just getting rid of the things that you don't want to see, in this case wandering, but replacing them with something that is much more useful, a skill that will help serve them for the rest of their life. And those are just some simple tips that you can keep in mind that can be literally lifesavers for your child to ensure that they are safe. There's only so much we could cover in the short amount of time we had today. If you found value in what we talked about, go to breakthroughautism.ca, join our newsletter, and also follow me on my socials.